Can you find England? Can you find it?
It's in Rome.
Yeah. Really hot, 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 boiling, scalding. You found it. That's England, right? And where are we going? Do you know where we're going?
Down here to France.
That's it, down there to France. And then alongside to the west side. And then down to the south. And then right up through back.
Why
all the way
south?
home. Because that's supposed to be a nice part of France, southern France. I'm in the process of packing for our French road trip, and this is an art, packing for a road trip when you're planning to film the road trip. There's so many things you have to remember, and you forget one of them, everything collapses, it all falls down. But we've done this enough now, we've done this so many years that I think I've kind of worked it out. But I don't want to get cocky, because when you get cocky, that's when you balls things up.
I got a kite and you got a kite, so we can fly them at the beach. We're going to the beach on holiday. I'm scared of flying on the bay. No, we're not flying, we're flying a kite. On the bay? Yes. I love flying on the bay. And we can collect loads of shells. I'm going to leave my Iron Man here so he doesn't get loose. And I put the mine in my pocket so he didn't get loose again. And I want him for what's wet.
A woman is drowning.
How do you say a woman is drowning?
Il y a une femme qui s'ennuie.
Il y a femme pussy nouille. Pussy nouille. And just like this, we began our French road trip. Sorry, I won't do that anymore. But before we could get to France, we had to drive to Portsmouth Harbour, where a ferry would take us on an overnight trip to a port in France called Caen. From there, we'd drive over to the west coast of France and spend 2 nights there before traversing over to see our friends in Sarlat-la-Canéda for another 2 nights. And then we'd drive down south, stopping in Toulouse for lunch along the way before arriving in our campsite in Lorraine.
What was that noise for?
That's what the French do all the time.
Oh, can you not? Where's the phrase for can you not?
After 3 nights in Lorraine, we'd start our journey home, breaking it up with a night in Lyon and 2 nights in Chinon before getting the ferry back home.
Why are we waiting here?
Life's a big waiting game, Grayson. You're born and then you wait to die. Welcome to life. Do you want an almond? Before we could board the ferry to France, we had to wait in a 4-hour queue, which made us tut so much that our tongues ached. Eventually, after we promised somebody in a high-vis vest and a face mask that we didn't have COVID-19, they let us on the ferry, so we could find our cabin and get a few hours kip before setting off about 6 a.m. the following morning.
Squash and a squeeze, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a squash and a squeeze. Morning.
Still sleeping at the dark.
Shall we see? Yep. Still sleeping at the top. Great, great.
We'll do anything for shots.
Allô?
Bonjour, je m'appelle Stefan. J'ai arrivé.
4 minutes. I am with my bicycle.
Perfect.
I am. Wait a little.
Merci beaucoup. Right, we're here. We did it. Well done, gang.
Sunday morning pup date. Quiet walk around the Wiltshire countryside.
Ah.
And there's George, look.
We love that little walk around the countryside. Do you miss him, Gray?
Yeah.
Welcome. You can put the car just here.
Such a mug with the screaming.
The first stop was 2 nights in a little Airbnb on a farm in the west coast of France in a seaside resort called Talmont-Saint-Hilaire. It wasn't anything like a seaside town in the UK because, well, it wasn't depressing as fuck.
It's alright, thanks for saying sorry. Thanks for clapping in my face.
You knew what you married. You married a blogger.
I mean, I didn't know that. You know what? I learnt a really nice makeup trick, which I'm really late
I can't wait to hear it.
But when you put blusher on, I mean, I'm probably doing it all wrong because I've had 2 glasses of wine. But, yeah, I'm definitely doing it wrong because I've had 2 glasses of wine. It's not supposed to be down there. Oh, dear.
Every time we were dating, you used to have these big strips of blusher down your cheekbones.
Shut up. No one knew what they were doing. That was before YouTube.
I felt like saying to you, you shouldn't really do that, but I thought that's probably not my place.
I'm going to say something really mean then, but then I decided not to. My blusher tip is to, like, go dot it there around your apple bit, but then also create, like, a 3 shape. Because then it makes you look a bit sun-kissed, but without being overly bronzed.
Darling, I know it's hard to let go. Soon I will hold you again. Longer days when I'm away, but we'll both pretend to be bold.
I saw something. What was it, Dad?
What was what? What do you mean, what was what?
That thing.
What thing? Where was it? What did you see?
There.
Was it a lizard?
Yeah.
You saw a lizard?
Yeah.
Like a gecko.
Was it nice?
Yeah, gecko.
You saw a gecko?
Yeah. And he sleeps in my gut. The gecko sleeps in my gut.
Does he?
Yep, and he doesn't wake up.
He doesn't wake up.
No.
The dead gecko sleeps in your cot.
Yeah.
So this is the first place we booked. I found it on Airbnb. And it's very nice, but like very rustic. I wish I knew before we came that there would be no bed sheets and no towels and no kettle, no shower gel, like nothing, like very rustic. No soap, nothing to wash yourself with. Very rustic, like so rustic. And there's 2 ways you can play that. One, you could be like, oh, a bit of a dickhead about it, and be like, oh my God, this is a bloody outrage. Or the other way to do it is just be like, you know, this is just the way they do things out here. It's a rustic, this is the rustic French way of life. This is how they do it, the French. They don't care about stuff like bed sheets and towels and hygiene. They just, you know, they just care about the experience of the day, about living life, drinking wine and conversation. That's how you play it. It's all how you psychologically process these things.
We're just heading off to the beach. We were going to go for golden hour, but it's a little bit late for the kids to go for golden hour. Everyone's already quite tired, so we're just going to go for half an hour and then come home and chill.
Let's go.
Where? A tapestry of our childhood, forged by fragments of time and framed by this endless sky. Look down and you'll see, between the wild and calm, your hand is woven tightly to mine. With each earth-piece step, you'll gather away. When your demons rise, I'll cast my shade over them. And your heart bleeds with sorrow. We'll breathe in time. When you hear the music swell, we'll dance like drunk fools on a stage. You'll be a tale told by an old fool. Remember this, my little brother, because as long as we're lost together, will never be lost.
I know it's only the start of the trip, but yeah, I've loved it so far.
Good.
It's been so much fun. So
Apart
weird.
from your hatred for the Airbnb we're staying at.
I'm trying to sell it to myself as being.
You're not good
really
at
rustic,
things being
French.
like a little bit shit, are you?
No, man, I'm not.
You've always been a bit of a princess, though.
I wouldn't. I don't know. That.
Yeah, Stef, come on.
No, come on. I don't know if that's fair. I don't know
Swallow
if
your pride.
I mean, I think I've coped with it pretty well, all things considered.
You wanted to message the next place this morning and be like, can we come now? This is like 8 o'clock in the morning.
I flew the idea past you, Hannah. I was, you know.
You typed it out into my Airbnb.
I wanted to see how far we could go with it before you'd, I don't know, yeah.
I don't mind it. We are on the road again today. We're heading somewhere called, I want to say Sarlat-la-Canéda, which I've completely butchered, but that's where we're meeting our very good friends. So 5 hours and we'll be there.
So here we go.
5 hours to go. 11,
5 hours to go.
2, 3, about 3:30. But if we stop, probably more
We're good,
like
man.
5:30.
We've got podcasts, we've got audiobooks, we've got entertainment for the kids, we've got everything lined up. We've got all our ducks in order. Is that the phrase? Ducks in order?
Ducks in a row.
Ducks in a row. Got our ducks in a row. We're prepared. I like being a prepared dad. There's a sense of accomplishment when you're a dad who's prepared. And I feel like I'm a dad who's prepared. Today we bid farewell to our rustic Airbnb/open prison and started our 246.8 mile traverse over to our next destination, Sarlat-la-Canéda, a small medieval town in southwest France where we'd spend the next 2 days exploring and visiting our good friends Neil and Anae.
We've just completed 4.5 hours. We've got 30 minutes left until we get to our second destination, and the boys have been angels. They've impressed us so much. We've let them have unlimited Kindle and video games, but they've just been in really good moods. Haven't argued or anything. It's been a beautiful drive, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been so nice, man. God, this place is stunning. Yeah, it's so hot.
Oh yeah.
There's a universal truth that can be summed up in 4 simple words. It won't last forever. At some point, we'll all lose the things that we love or have loved. It's all finite. That's the pact we make. If we love, we grieve.
Daddy, a man.
Yes, Daddy's a man. A man? Are you okay? Look.
Hello, Dobby. Hello, talking to you. Oh no, Dobby, are you alright? Got to get an ambulance.
As Nick Cave once said, grief is a terrible reminder of the depths of our love. And like love, grief is non-negotiable. There is a vastness to grief that overwhelms our minuscule selves. We are tiny, trembling clusters of atoms, subsumed with grief's awesome presence. It occupies the core of our being and extends through our fingers to the limits of the universe. I guess the important thing is to never forget the depths of our love and to see it play out in the silent dance between the here and nows. to hang it like a veil over every insignificant borrowed moment that we have. Because love and grief are forever entwined. We just did a little walk around the town, but it was so packed with tourists. And you can't really film when you've got a load of tourists everywhere, because then you just get shots of a load of tourists just bumbling around, and it's like the worst footage. Watching dead-eyed tourists moseying around, looking at stuff, is just the worst footage. Yes, I too smell the irony here. Here I am, a tourist, bitching about the fact there are too many tourists. But if 2020 has taught me anything, it's being a hypocrite is the new fidget spinner. Because I also hate global warming, but that doesn't mean I'm going to throw my iPhone in the bin and move my family into an off-grid, eco-friendly, self-sufficient yurt, does it? The simple fact is tourists ruin everything. Because anything worth looking at in this world isn't worth looking at anymore, because it has a thick veneer of gormless-looking glaze-eyed tourists in creased khaki shorts and Oakley wraparound sunglasses. We decided the only option was to escape Sarlat-la-Canéda and all drive a few miles to check out a nearby town, which is apparently listed as one of the world's most beautiful villages in France. It's known as La Roque-Gagec. Gagec? Gageek?
La Roque-Gagec.
Gagec? How the hell is that Gec?
La Roque-Gagec.
La Roque-Gagec. It's known as La Roque-Gagec, a centuries-old town where little seems to have changed since the Middle Ages. Occupied in prehistoric times, the cave dwellings anchored high into the cliffs were fortified in the Middle Ages for defence during war. It dates back to around the year 849 with the arrival of the Normans. Ancient forts built into the city by locals to protect themselves from the Viking invasions when they came sailing up the Dordogne in their Viking longships. After we spent a couple of hours mincing around, we decided to drive back to our Airbnb and start packing for our longest leg of the road trip down to the south of France tomorrow morning. I like your sword. We've just checked out of our Airbnb and now we're going to go to
Lourmarin.
That'll be the further south we're going to go before we start heading back up north. So we've got a bit of a beastly drive ahead of us, 6 hours. So we're going to stop, I think, in Toulouse and then have a big lunch there and then do the second leg of the journey after that. Today we had a 352.4 mile journey ahead of us. You may think Hannah would get a bit bored just sitting there next to a man who looks like an avant-garde calculator musician, but think again. I made sure I had plenty of premium titillating chat stashed in the chat bank. First on the menu was why the roads out here are so ruddy sublime. Hannah sat there completely spellbound as I explained how road surface degradation in continental Europe tends to be more dominated by frost damage, which is readily and frequently repaired, which gives undulations of relatively long wavelengths. In the UK, however, frost damage may be less frequent, but we do have an additional problem, because the substrate tends to be washed away by the water table. This results in much higher frequency, shorter wavelength undulations, which excite the vehicle's suspension at a frequency close to that at which the wheels tend to bounce on their tyres. Tyres themselves have little dampening but quite a lot of stiffness, particularly when large wheels are specified necessitating tyres of very low profile. The consequent lack of dampening has to be catered for by the suspension dampers, increasing their workload and bringing about an extra challenge in their calibration. So this is Toulouse.
Looks really cool, doesn't it?
Does look like a quite cool city. Ruthie, can you not poke me with a sword in the back of my neck, please? I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to buy 2 kids' swords.
And then put them in the car with the 2 swords. Oh my god, they still have Etam.
400 meters.
Etam is like a shop that I used to shop in when I was like 11, 12. And they have Tammy Girl.
And then you went
Can't believe they got Etam.
down.
I am a girl, Roo. Yeah. This is so weird, the way nobody moves out of the way of the cars.
I know.
Like they're literally just walking in the way of the cars.
I know.
I don't get it.
It's like they've all got a death wish.
But like on their phones like that as well. It's so bizarre.
Now let's talk about the texture of British road surfaces, particularly on major highways. They're generally rougher as different systems are used to manage the surface water. This has an effect on grip, especially in the wet, and in particular on the generation of road noise. Again, managing this adds to the challenge of accommodating both British roads and UK markets' perception that firm is sporty without specifically compromising the ride quality and vehicle refinement. We made it!
We did it.
We made it. Oh, God. That was a big drive. I won't throw your balloon away. Oh. Here we go. God, that was a beast of a drive. I think that was about... Oh, dear. Open the back boot and that happens. Found this cute little campsite. It took me ages to find it. Everywhere's booked out. Yeah, it was really hard to find it, but I managed it. This is it here. Oh. It's very basic, but it's at least they've got an air conditioner. I'm so happy there's an air conditioner. The last two places we've stayed at have had no air conditioning, and yeah, sleeping in 35 degree heat with no aircon is, well, that's an experience. So let's get that bad boy on right now. I love that feeling when you've done a massive trip and you arrive somewhere. That feeling of accomplishment. Oh, please tell me the aircon's working. Yes. Get that temp right down. Right, what's the Wi-Fi password? Good morning. We're about to head to a local market, like a farmer's market. If I was to describe the south of France in 2 words, it would be impossibly pretty. As Fitzgerald described it, the diffused magic of the hot, sweet south has withdrawn into them soft poured night, and the ghostly wash of the Mediterranean far below. A sea as mysteriously coloured as a Gates and Cornelians of childhood, green as green, milk blue as laundry water, wine dark. Even Vincent van Gogh once said the whole future of art is to be found in the south of France. Famously, when Vincent was offered a free paintbrush for doing some lovely paintings of some sunflowers one time, he said, "No thank you, I've got one right ear, mate." What was that horrible puppy that we saw in the market earlier today, that quivering little thing? They're so, just uncomfortable to be around. Do you not think that? The way they're so quivery and, just make you feel really on edge.
No, I don't think that. I think how I would best describe this place that we are now. Where is it? Bonu? Is that how you pronounce it?
Bonu,
something like that. It looks like one of those kingdoms that they make up in Frozen.
Yeah.
That must be what they based those type of buildings on in films.
I bet. Yeah, it's probably where they come to do the research. My God, it is stunning, isn't it? It's probably the highlight of my trip. Got my wife in her sexy outfit, her sexy swimwear, slicing up the salad. I got 2 little rats having a great time there. I've got myself a beer and a lovely barbecue on the go. Look at that, baby. Look at that. Barbecue. Yeah, man, this is the sweet spot of the holiday, I think. There's so much that goes into a trip like this in terms of all the organising and the sorting it all out and the driving and the waiting. But then when you get to little pockets of time like this, that's when it all becomes worth it. That's when you're like, this is what it was all for. These little moments where you're where everything's just working perfectly, where everyone is just happy and content. Anyway, better go before I start crying. Cheers.
Cheers. Do you want a towel, Rubes?
Mummy, please can I skip this? It hurts my toes.
Sure.
Rufus, have you learned any French words?
Yeah.
What?
I'm going to speak blah, blah, see, plums.
Blah blah see sluns.
That means poo out of your tummy.
It means what out of your tummy? Poo out of your tummy. Blah blah see luns is poo out of your tummy.
Yeah.
Okay. You're angry? Why are you angry? Who's annoyed you?
I know it's gonna be me.
Who's annoyed you? Tell me why, and I'll do something about it.
Why didn't hit me?
Grayson hit you.
Hungry.
When did he do that?
In the car we did
In the car he did that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because
What?
you're leaning on my toys, touching them, stealing them.
Were you leaning on his toys and touching them and stealing them?
No.
No?
Yeah.
So what should I do about that? How should I punish him?
Get them on the naughty step at home.
Right, when we get back to Bath, you are on the naughty step.
You'll forget that.
Well,
I
we'll
know
see.
you will.
He won't.
When we get back to Bath, you remind me and I'll put him on the naughty step, okay?
And you just don't definitely forget that. Please. I'll distract you.
Hey, Rufus!
No.
You got a one-way ticket to the naughty step too, Ruda.
See, you're going on the naughty
You can both sit on the naughty step.
We'll go off the naughty step.
No, you won't.
And we'll steal some of £10 from your wallet.
You'll steal £10 in my wallet and you'll sneak off the naughty step. Right, let me know how that works out for you. Do you want pudding?
Yes. No. Yes.
Yes, yes, what did you say, yes? You can throw the word yes in my face?
Yeah.
Just yes? You think you can get pudding? We're just saying yes?
Manners.
Please. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Mummy, I've got another wobbly
Let's
too.
see.
Here.
Let me wobble it.
On the long journey down here, we all imagined what the south of France would be like, but I don't think any of us imagined it would be quite this pretty. You see, the thing is, it's not pretty in the way that it knows it is and leans into it, like my ex Lucy used to do all the time. It's pretty in a way that it's blissfully unaware of the fact, and if you ask me, that's the best type of pretty.
I'm also from pizza. You can go the room of my pizza wrap. Because I can love all of my pizza. All that. I eat all of
You
them.
better not eat all of it.
Yeah.
Better not. You know, thinking about it, I'd say actually the south of France is the polar opposite of my ex Lucy, because the south of France has grace, dignity, and a bit of ruddy self-respect. Most importantly, the south of France doesn't feel the need to upload Instagram pictures of their new engagement ring with the caption, "I don't think I've ever been this happy before." Good luck spending the rest of your life with a type 2 diabetic, mate, that's all I can say. How nice is the south of France?
No, I wish we'd just come straight down south. Not that the other bits weren't nice too, but it's you see why people come down here for their whole holiday.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to, if we can, do a bit of a repeat. Let me just show you. By the way, can we just appreciate the fact that we were organised and brought games to lunch so we can relax.
Yeah, thank God.
The only problem is the language barrier.
Yeah, there is that. I do feel like I wish I had the time to sit there and learn French properly.
Well, like we were saying before, if we were to come again, we only need to learn a few phrases and then food, basically.
You know what we should do instead of listen to audiobooks and
Listen to
podcasts?
French,
Listen
yeah.
to French translation apps.
And also, all we really need to learn is food so that we can understand menus, because that's the most embarrassing thing when they come over and they're like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry, mate. I didn't pay enough attention in my French class and I really wish I did right now. I'm hating myself for not really getting balls deep in French when I was a kid. It turned out to be a very special day for Grayson today as his first tooth came out. However, the French don't have a tooth fairy. Instead, they have something called a petite soise, which means a tooth mouse, which, like the tooth fairy, exchanges a tooth left under a pillow for a shiny new euro.
Look, Rufus, my tooth came out. It's here. You want to see the blood? It got blood in there. Look, blood in there. My tooth. And look. Are you okay? Yeah? It didn't hurt at all. Mummy.
tomorrow morning we'd pack our bags and say goodbye to the south of France, which none of us wanted to do because this place is truly spectacular. But I'm not talking about just the wine and the pretty villages that make this trip so special. It's everything in between.
That ant's golden. Wish we could get that.
It's the sleepy drives. It's the whispers from the kids' rooms, the little voices with big plans. It's underneath the bleached sky. It's in a blue light from an off-brand LCD TV set in standby mode, loitering in a shady corner. It's behind every shutter and carved wooden door that we pass by. It's in a small hand, it's in each small step over a cobbled street. It's in a chair draped in a limp towel. It's in the final drips of the shower. It's in an upturned glass next to a sink, next to an empty wine bottle. It's in the flashing batteries cradled in chargers dancing out of time. It's in every molecule and atom that we feel and don't feel. It's in the heres and the nows, and all the spaces between.
What are you doing with that? Capra Sun? Is that the blackcurrant flavour?
What?
Never mind, long story.
So tomorrow we've got to check out of here at 8 o'clock, and then we're going to start our journey all the way back up to the north of France to get the ferry back to over to Portsmouth to get over back to the UK. But that's a massive, great big journey to get from here up to the north of France. So we decided to break it up over 3 days. So we're going to stop off first of all in Lyon for a night, which is about 3.5 hours from here. And then the next day we've got another like 5-hour trip, I think, to somewhere called Chinon.
You know, you're on holiday with kids when you find half a chewed up baby bell outside.
And then after that we're going to have 2 nights in Chinon, and then we're going to head up, boom, to Sian, I think it's called, after 2 nights, and get the ferry back to Portsmouth, an overnight ferry again. So, and that will be the end. We were thinking whether we just stay out here, but I've got my hair transplant booked in, so I can't.
How do you spell Cian?
Cian,
C-I-E-N?
No, C-E-A-N.
Oh.
Yeah. They name things so awkwardly out here, so you can't. Yeah, it's so difficult to pronounce anything when you're driving around. It goes, what did it say earlier? Turn left down, and it's almost like she was making up a word.
Mummy's taking a picture of you. Master of the universe. Wee, 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 wee.
I agree. I think that eventually we will break through this. I do, because that's what the human animal is really good at.
Yeah, I think we're in the technological dark ages.
Just got to Lyon. We're going to stay here for one night, just as a stopover. We just checked into our Airbnb in Lyon for the night. It smells a bit like somebody might have died in here, and they tried to mask the smell of death with like heavy incense smell. So I'm sort of smelling death and incense. We're going to take the kids up the road to a little park just to burn them out before bed. We're going to go to bed nice and early so we can get up for our 5 or 6 hour drive, I think it is, tomorrow to Chinon. Let's go. buckle up for a 242-mile journey, which is going to take us
Delicious.
a total of...
5 hours.
Oh, you're close. You're very
Good
close.
guess, Gray.
It's going to cost us €47 in toll charges, and it's going to take us 4 hours and 36 minutes.
So loud to draw attention, but it's just the way you want it.
I feel like I'm going to go a bit hippie when we get home.
Oh God, why?
Well, I'm going to do a juice cleanse, and I want to try and do yoga with Adrienne every night, and go on a bit of a dry, whatever month we are,
Okay.
a dry couple of weeks, no drinking.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
And I also really want to get a tongue scraper.
Mummy, I'm
Why?
drawing the robot
Because
on-
it's like a really good way to get rid of
Mummy?
toxins, apparently.
Excuse me, Mummy. I'm drawing this
Also,
robot.
think how dirty your tongue
the
is.
front of
Like, it
here.
freaks me out. Are you drawing that robot?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see him when you're finished.
When have you ever had issues with tongue bacteria?
Right here.
I haven't had issues. I just read that it's a really good way to get rid of toxins.
I think that sounds like bullshit. Who said that? Like a tongue scraper company?
What peculiar creatures we are. What compassion we show. What stories we tell. What art we paint.
Ah, look at the cuddle.
What answers we need. What lies we believe. What little we understand. What eternity we await. What empires we build. What gods we will create. What sacrifices we make. What majesty we ignore. Why did he yell at me? What legacies we leave. What love we taste. What rockets we blast. What limits we know. What fun we have. What pain we feel. What peculiar creatures we are.
Thanks for coming with us on our French road trip. Au revoir. Say au revoir, Hannah.
No, mine's the mint chocolate. I love mint chocolate. Next time you can get mint chocolate. Next time I'm gonna strawberry. You love strawberry. Yeah.